and it took it off.
Okay, so is there a way?
Oh yeah, it should check in a minute and see if you see it.
Okay, let me check.
Check on what?
Check wherever.
You have it on your Instagram, Rayon?
Yeah, my thing is, I just got the message right now. Streaming with SirLuckHomes.
Okay, so you just got it right now, right?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook.
Do you know what just happened? Is that when I clicked it, you know, on the Mac we have it your 3 fingers and you sort of like drag over to the left or some shit to go to a different screen. I dragged it over to the left to go to a different screen, and it ended up just going pressing the back button. So you just deleted everything.
Yeah, all of them, even my IG just now. We're live. Everything is there.
Okay.
Okay. It's good you guys said some shit, because honest to God, we'll have done this whole thing and it'd be too late.
Crazy.
I'm glad we can start fresh now.
All right. So
Now I'm scared to press. I'm scared to press any button.
Oh my gosh. We had a few questions that we're going to be going over. Chuku, was there anything extra that we were going to be adding in regards to the questions, or we're just going to work with what we have?
We can work what we have. What we can do on top of that is that we can probably talk about the interest rate increases. I'm sure people are curious about that as well. What else? Then we can add what else can we add? Let me think. Interest rate increases. I mean, what that means for the market. What does that mean for the market? What else can we cover? I know that someone before was asking about what it's like to be a realtor. So we can just talk about that very briefly.
Stress.
Happiness. We love serving our clients.
I mean that too, but stress.
Yeah.
Every step I take, every move I make, Rico's watching me.
Oh Lord. If I see a letter coming, I'm just gonna die.
I'll laugh though. No, seriously. Everything that you do and everything that you say, you have to make sure that you're giving the best quality service, because it's nothing for you to lose your license. I'm gonna be the one telling everybody what's really going on with getting your license. Y'all can kumbaya. I'm gonna let them know what happens after the fact.
It is not difficult. It is not difficult to get your license. It is, yeah, that's the main thing. Everyone wants to be a realtor. No one knows the work it takes to actually become a successful one.
It's not even the work, the fees.
Well, that too. And everyone watches Selling Tampa, all of these real estate shows, and they think it's just doing open houses. It's not. They definitely glamorize the life of being a realtor. And I'm sure we can all agree.
Right. Well,
let's keep this succinct and in time. So like, what was it? The first one is it possible for you to do a live about people who leave notes in mailboxes saying how they are looking for homes in your neighborhood and don't need an agent? Okay, got it. And don't need an agent, and they will pay a fee, etc. So basically people saying that you don't need an agent to be able to sell your home and so forth. Anyone want to tackle that one as to why that's a good or a bad thing?
I think it's something that you will see in the market, as people are always going to be advertising and marketing about homes in your area. My main suggestion for anyone who receives these type of flyers, don't do the process by yourself without a realtor. I'd make sure to reach out to one of us, or make sure you have a realtor that is representing your best interests. I would never not use a professional when dealing with, say, legal issues. You need a lawyer. Real estate dealings, I would say have a realtor with you.
Right. There's a few individuals that they will package a deal with trigger words from the Robert Kiyosaki course that they always see coming up about, oh, you can wholesale your property for such and such. But if you're planning on, doing a first wholesale without a realtor or a professional, you're going to run into problems. You're going to need to know what kind of clauses and legal jargon to put down on the documentation to protect yourself. You're going to need to know what's going on with just simply evaluating your home. First things first, assessing the value of your property and knowing exactly what you should sell it for. If you don't know and you're just going to be going on realtor.ca and saying, well, the next door property sold 5 months ago for this price, and you didn't realize that interest rates have changed and you're in a completely different market, or you don't know what market you're in, whether a buyer or seller market, you're going to have a bad time, as that guy would say on South Park. It's best, as Natanya was saying, to always have somebody that is a professional looking out for your best interest.
And also, I just want to add to that, Rayan. A lot of people, I would say, may be using House Sigma as well as a way to
Oh God,
the last
House
sold
Sigma.
prices. And as an agent, I wanted to check it out and see, you know, is it really doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, does this even, like, why am I working? But to be honest, I noticed that some of the prices that they were giving as an average sale price in the area didn't really reflect what was happening in the time. And I had a client that was telling me, you know, the value of my area is this. This is in April when things were coming down. And I'm like, not anymore, you know? And doing House Sigma, it's giving you definitely higher than what the market value was in my personal experience. So I can only imagine you may want to double check with a realtor to get accurate information.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll add to that one. The whole House Sigma thing that drove me nuts. The way I'll explain it to people, right? So if you think of it this way, you could have two homes on the same street, right? Is a representative from House Sigma or any of these websites walking into the home to see what the quality of the workmanship, to see whether a kitchen was updated, to see if if it's a basement, a finished basement can mean a billion things. How well finished is it? Does it have marble? Does it have cord? Does it have hardwood flooring? House Sigma could not take any of this into consideration. So if you're going based on House Sigma and you think that your property is worth 800,000, but then the home House Sigma used in their comparables is a brand new home that's well done, that the guy renovated the entire thing, he gutted it out completely, put in a separate entrance, and then you compare it to your home that you've never touched since day one, your numbers are going to be significantly off. Like, it doesn't make any sense, because it's very rare that you can have two homes that are exactly alike. Here's one that you don't really see come up too often: the smell. If you have two homes that magically everything is exactly the same and it's absolutely perfect, and one home just stinks, like maybe they have 5 dogs just peeing all over the place or whatever, and someone took a dump in the corner, then that's going to affect the marketability of that property. It's going to affect the actual selling price. Now, according to House Sigma, those two homes are exactly alike, but the price and the valuation is going to be different, because the valuation is based on the value that a potential buyer puts on that property. If someone walks into your property and they close their nose and they walk back out, obviously it's going to reduce the value. Obviously not the same. So you need to have someone with a working nose, with some ears and some bloody eyeballs, not to flip and go against the people who are handicapped or impaired in some way. But you do need someone who could actually walk inside there, not walk or roll or whatever it is. Go into the actual I'm a terrible person, right? Yeah, to go into the property, do a proper assessment and tell you exactly what it's worth.
Yep. You're not going to be getting that from House Sigma. You're going to get is like, okay, there's 5 houses in this area that were sold for this price, divide by 5, and ta-da! This doesn't work.
Or even realtor.ca. Sorry, Joe.
And I think also people don't realize, as what Rayan and Tanya were saying, is buying a house, especially in this market, is not just an A and B thing. There are so many clauses and things that you have to consider before purchasing a house. So it is very important to have an agent, one of us, that will help you find the home that you want. So just wrapping it up.
Next thing though, the other question that we have here, people giving stories about how they need your bungalow because a family member has a disability. So how you feel about sob stories to be able to get your home? And I'll tie that one in with our seniors being targeted to sell their homes for less than market value, especially if they are not well.
I'll answer the first question. For people giving sob stories about targeting their home, that, in my opinion, is a red flag, because if someone is coming to your home and they want to purchase it and they're giving you a sob story, clearly they're trying to lowball you or offer you something less than what the sale price is. So again, goes back to make sure you have an agent a good real estate agent, one of us, that will be able to give you the full value of their home. So don't be intimidated by someone giving you a sob story about why they need your home. They're likely lowballing you on the offer that they want. If that is the lead that they're coming to why they want to buy your home.
Anyone else want to add something to that?
I would just say, you know what, people want to get the word out there, and if their story is what it is, that's fine. Always just make sure you have an agent that's going to make sure you're going to, get the best outcome for yourself if you are interested in selling.
Right. Yep. And when it comes to seniors, do you think that seniors are being targeted more than anyone else in regards to selling their properties? Do you think that seniors have been taken advantage of?
I think it is easier. I think that yeah, it's very possible. Well, the thing is that seniors being taken advantage of every aspect of just real estate. I remember my very first client, one of my first clients, Miss Yuna. I do want to call my Jamaican grandmother. The reason why I'm actually nice with Jamaicans. The only reason why I know I'm going to the only chance I have right now of going to heaven is that wonderful woman. But I remember when we first met, she had a home. It wasn't that old. It was like 3 or 4 years old. It wasn't that long. And I remember someone came by and told her that there was something wrong with the AC unit. It was a simple thing that's changing the filter. All she had to do was just change the filter. They made her get a new AC unit, a new furnace, a new hot water tank, and they put her under a rental contract, right? So, yeah. So whenever you come, I think is someone saying the live is off? No, I'm still seeing the broadcast here. Yeah. Anyway, so whenever it comes to the seniors, right? It's very easy for predators to take advantage of them because a lot of times they don't know better. They just trust that the person knows what they're saying. A lot of people are snake oil salesmen or women, or people, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So when it comes to this market, yeah, older people are definitely taken advantage of in a very, very frequently. And if they don't have a support system to actually look over what they're doing, they can be taken advantage of on a regular basis. So I would say, yeah, older people who are disabled, definitely look out for their better interest. If you see something that looks off, definitely say something.
Right.
I really do think that the live might be off.
I'm literally watching the live right now. So like
I'm looking at it. I just went on. I'm looking. Yeah.
The live is off on Rayon's Instagram.
Okay.
It's off on the SirLuckHomes Instagram too.
So maybe just on Instagram. I see it on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm looking at it. That's what I'm saying. I was looking at it on Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, moving along.
That's okay. I can refresh the connection if anything.
No worries. All right. So with the other question that we have here, what should family members be watching out for? Some seniors don't have children, poor relationships with children, or live in other countries or cities. Well, for the most part, just reiterating what we said, telltale signs, if you're going to be met with some kind of a story, as opposed to, hi, let me evaluate your home, I have an interest in purchasing it for myself, you're likely to run into issues where you're being scammed. If the person isn't forthcoming with actually, telling you about the market value or assessing your property to see if it's even worth purchasing, because there are some people, not saying that, particularly the people listening right now, have homes that are handyman specials. If that's the case, and it's a completely different ball game, you would be assessed based on what would be needed to be fixed in that property, and that's absolutely fine. But if you have a property that's 3 to 5 years old and they're telling you, oh, well, this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed, and they're coming at you with shady contracts and so forth, that's where you're going to start to run into problems. Get yourself a realtor that can look at the property, assess the value for your property, and so forth, if your interest is to sell, especially with the next thing that we're going to be looking at, which are the interest rates. We were in a seller's market before. We're in a buyer's market right now. With that being said, with the interest rates, I'm seeing for people who already own properties having it easier or having an easier time with purchasing properties right now as opposed to people who are first-time home buyers. Have you guys been seeing the same kind of a trend for yourselves, or do you think differently?
I would say the one thing that may obviously cause some issue for first-time home buyers is qualifying based on the amount of income you're bringing in. Your purchase power is obviously going to be less with the increased interest rate. If you do have the income to support, you shouldn't have much problems. I guess maybe where you're seeing that is with people who already own a home, probably have a lot of equity already in there, so their purchasing power, or they have the income to have an increased purchase power. And the one thing I would say to this point about interest rate is that I've always heard interest rates when they're up, home prices are down. I know a lot of people sat on the fence saying that they're waiting for prices to come down. They're down. They're down now. So I really hope that you're looking into purchasing. I don't want to hear about the interest rate is too high now. It's always going to be high if house prices are low, and it's always going to be low when the house prices are high. So I guess at this point, you need to, see what suits you best. This is a buying opportunity. Interest rates, you don't need to marry it. It can always change, but your home price, you're pretty much married to. So with that said, I think it's a great time to get in the market if you can, and we're always here to help.
Awesome.
Definitely.
The thing is, for what I'm looking at with the first-time home buyer as opposed to somebody that is already a homeowner, it's usually the homeowners right now looking to trade up or get into investment properties, or for people who are realizing that they don't qualify for as much anymore, because we already know the 5 different levels of housing, where you have condos, condo towns, townhouses, semi-detached and detached. Right now, if it's harder for them to get into the semi-detached and detached or the condo town or townhouses, they're going to be going towards condos. So my suggestion would be for the individual to look at something that they can get as an investment property. As time passes by, the property will be, paid off. Somebody would be living there, paying the mortgage and so forth. And while they're paying for the mortgage, the interest rates, whether it be a year and a half, 2 years down the road, hopefully you get yourself a variable rate once they adjust. It would be in your best interest to then sell the property. The reason why I'm saying it's best to get a variable rate is because if you get a fixed rate for the same time frame, 3 to 5 years or so, once you want to break it, if something happens, like, because life always happens, guys, your kids might need some money for school, or a family member might be sick, or you might be looking to invest in another property. Breaking a fixed rate mortgage is going to be costly. You're looking at a minimum of 25,000 off of whatever equity that you already have on your property, as opposed to a variable rate mortgage where you're going to be just dealing with the interest, and that could be anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. So by getting a variable rate mortgage, you have more flexibility with your money. You're able to capitalize on the equity gain from your property throughout the time and use it to purchase something else, which would be your dream home. With that being said, right now, for you guys, have you been noticing anything with like certain areas that have been going down in property value that people can capitalize on, whether it be condos or townhouses or anything of the nature? Like, for our searches, have you guys been looking at any specific area?
I would say I noticed, the prices in Georgetown between the detached has come down significantly. I would say you could be lucky now to probably get something just under $1 million, just over $1 million. So that was in my latest search, the Georgetown area. Some of the detached 3-bedroom around that area. Definitely opportunities there. You're still in the GTA, so
Mhm.
I would definitely.
Yeah,
look in that area.
just to piggyback from what Natanya said, I've been doing searches in Brampton, Peel region, and I've definitely noticed detaches have been on the market for longer, 20, 30 days, and they are selling well below listed price. So definitely an opportunity to buy a detached right now in the Peel region area, specifically Brampton.
And why I say also, I just want to add, you know, under the $1 million mark, you still are able to put less than 20% down payment if necessary, if down payment is an issue. So
Mhm.
yeah, this would be an opportunity to try to get that price under $9.99.
Right?
You can put 5-10%
Exactly.
down and get your foot in the door.
You know, makes
Exactly.
sense. That's definitely those are definitely two places that I've noticed myself. Looking at actually the borderline of Mississauga and Etobicoke, and I'm seeing prices for properties that were going for 1.5, 1.3 that are now at the $1 million or $900,000 range as well. The thing is, you know, I've been saying it for a while with the prices, and we all know as they're low right now when it comes to the market value, with the interest rates being high, anybody who purchases anything right now is going to look like a genius as time passes by.
Mhm.
Period.
One other area I noticed a lot more inventory is the assignment sales. So if you're like to have a new home, no one's ever lived in, that's also an area you can take a look at some of the listings for assignments, or contact us, inquire if we are aware of any assignment sales. We can definitely help you with those.
Definitely, and that's the thing with assignments. It's good, but like not to harp on it, because I mean either way it's still a good investment. With the interest rates, Chuku, for new builds, one of the things that I've
the new build, I would say separate from assignment. There are assignments coming November, December, January closing is what I'm referring to.
Yeah. No, this is separate. Like in terms of new builds that are going to be finishing later, right? Like in 2024, late 2024, 2025, and so forth. For the interest rates and how they've been operating, Chuku, have you do you think it would be a sound investment for someone to get into a new build? And if so, why?
Okay, as Tanya said a little bit earlier, if you're talking about assignment deals that are closing very, very close, yeah, I can see it making sense, because at least you would know whether or not you can afford them or not. The risk to new build properties have decreased a bit. So if you were to ask me this a week ago, I'd be like, you'll have to be an idiot, right? Especially if you're going through like 3, 4, 5 years in the future. It's a very difficult thing. It'd be a very, very difficult thing to say with all honesty that it's a good idea to do a new build then, right? The only positives that I can see is that I wanted to see at what point would the real estate increases begin to bottom out, and we're beginning to see them begin to decrease from 1 to 0.75 to 50 BPS, and hopefully the next in December, I think it's the 8th, I believe it is. Hopefully it will stay stagnant. It's the 7th, yeah. Hopefully it will drop again. And the beginning of 2022, we can see the end up to these increases. So if that is going to be the case, we could assume that rates will be stagnant for a little bit before it drops, because obviously you can't have it in the Bank of Canada is assuming that inflation should hit 2% in 2024. So if inflation hits 2% in 2024, the Bank of Canada, I highly doubt going to keep rates exactly the same. I'm assuming they're going to start reducing the interest rates. If they don't increase interest rates, it's going to be something to encourage more lending, to encourage more purchasing, right? So whether they change the stress test, whether that's not the Bank of Canada, but whatever the stress is dealt with, whether they increase amortization, that will be happening for sure by next year. It can make it into the beginning of what will be a seller's market again. And it can be the beginning of what will be a good market to start buying pre-con. Also keep in mind that nowadays you'll start realizing with pre-con, you will start seeing a lot of discounts happening. You'll also start seeing a lot of incentives, right? So if I were to buy a pre-con, I would start looking at it at the beginning of next year when the market when the rates stop going up, that would be a really good signal. If you're doing it now, it's not the worst idea, not the worst idea, not the best idea either. I would be looking at resale before pre-con right now. And for pre-con, as early the closing, the earlier the closing, the better. With assignment probably being assignment before pre-con any day. Right.
Right.
So in terms of, I mean, the whole thing is going to be risky, right? But the key thing is that we don't want to keep on seeing rates consistently increasing. That makes the environment very scary.
Yeah.
You also don't want it to be a situation where it becomes a big sell-off, right? Or a lot of people are foreclosing. A lot of people can't even afford to even close on their home. So that's another thing to look at. Many people who have bought these pre-con properties, they bought that with the assumption that it was a 2% interest rate or maybe 2.5% interest rate. A lot of them have not been factoring 5, 6, 7% rates. So the question is whether or not they can actually afford a 6% interest rate whenever the heck it is that they're closing. And if their goal was to just offload that property, they might have a very difficult time trying to find buyers in this market or even next year's market because affordability is significantly lower, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you're aware of the risk when it comes to pre-construction, then by all means go for it. But at the same time, you have to make sure you talk to a mortgage advisor first. I would say before a realtor, talk to a mortgage advisor first, see whether or not you can afford the property and start exploring worst case scenarios. If everything goes to SHIP, what are your options? And make sure that whenever you're buying these things, these pre-con, that there needs to be an escape clause. In other words, there need to be an assignment clause, a good assignment clause inside there to allow you to actually back out of it or get out of it. Not back out of it, but at least to offload it when the time, if the time comes. And ideally, something that doesn't restrict you too much. If you can sell an MLS, that's a blessing, because selling off-market pre-con property assignment deals is a pain in the ass.
Tough.
It's very, very difficult.
All right. Thank you for that. The other question to follow up is, what's it like to be a realtor? So y'all can give the kumbaya answers. You already know my stance. I'm gonna be telling them the doom and the gloom and all the other stuff that they need to worry about. So anyone want to start?
I will start that, you know, well, majority of us enjoy shows like Selling, Tampa, all the HGTV and all these real estate shows. Real estate is nothing like that. They definitely gloss over and glamorize what you have to do as an agent.
80-hour weeks.
Exactly, 80-hour weeks. It's not just about, you know, having an open house every few months and, you know, doing showings. It's a lot of stress. It's rewarding. It's very rewarding. We love, you know, helping our clients find properties. We take pride in our job, but it is nothing like how it is on TV or Netflix or whatever shows you guys watch. So, and everyone's smiling because I know they want to add to that. So Natanya,
I would just say that there's definitely many moving parts to being a real estate agent. So as Chuku's famous line is, it's not just sticking a damn sign in the ground, calling it a day. You actually have to be able to market yourself, your business, connect with people, make a lot of connections with people. You know, not everyone is going to buy with you, and that's okay. But, you know, you want to be out there, make sure that you're representing yourself, you're knowledgeable, and following up. I guess the number one thing people say about realtors is that they don't follow up. So, you know, keeping the connection with people, following up, keeping them updated with information. Sometimes you miss out on opportunities because you weren't there and somebody else who was at the right time, you know, was able to your client may have used somebody else because they were there at the right time with the information. So always keeping updated information to your clients, doing lives like these. People can see your face, people want to get to know you. You know, keeping update with your track record. Now everybody's going to social media to see your accomplishments. Make sure you get your reviews. Like, there's a lot of parts to being a realtor, even when you're going through the process of doing a deal with people. People might be going through their own life stuff, and sometimes, you know, you're right there for them to talk about it too. And I mean, navigating and helping direct, I mean, you don't want to be too involved in client stuff, but, you know, sometimes it helps for them to get to where they're trying to go. And I mean, I feel like sometimes a therapist in some.
True.
Oh my God, you're right.
So I mean,
It's
there's
true.
a lot of things.
True.
And also for your own self, you gotta be able to come back to, as Janelle mentioned, it can be stressful. You have a lot of people you're dealing with, and a lot of situations happen. You need time for yourself as well to get back and make sure you're mentally stable to continue on with your job. So there's a lot to it. It can be done. Obviously, people are doing it, and I enjoy being on a team for this reason, so that I can share some of these, whether it's venting, questions I have, whatever, with other people. It's really, I mean, you know, I wouldn't do this as a one-man show.
Just to add as well, especially in Ontario, there are so many real estate agents. Everyone wants to be a realtor. So if you are going to be a realtor, you definitely have to make yourself stand out from everyone else. You know, with our team, we are, I don't want to I'll toot our own horn. We're up there. We're one of the
damn
best. So.
good. We're great.
Okay.
How
We're
many
excellent.
award-winning? How many award-winning?
Award-winning team. So we're an award-winning team. We are, as Rian said, we are the shit. So when you're going in, when you're becoming a realtor, you have to realize that you are going against teams like us, which is very, very hard to compete against. But I just
You know how
want
hard
to
we work, fam? Yo, and
we
that's the
work
thing.
when Rayon said 80-hour weeks, that's I think that's on a good week, especially when it's a seller's
Facts.
market. Well, now we're all busy, while all the realtors are desperate, but
Oh wow. What a work. Wow. 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 Look here. Look here.
Did
I
I
like some of these
I
people,
lie?
okay?
Did I lie?
I
I
think
like some of
let's
these-
put it
Business
this
is
way.
gonna look
I
very
have to
good
put it
for
out there
us.
that people are hungry, fam. Don't do that.
I think that what Janelle is trying to say is that the market has changed, and people who are selling homes based on a seller's market, if they have not adjusted, it will definitely be a challenge and a struggle in this market. It's not as easy as it was.
Yes, and I think yes, in Natalia's professional way, yes. I think, when it was a seller's market, everyone was able to get sales, and now we're going into a buyer's market, and with the rates increasing, a lot of realtors definitely are, I'll be as nice as Natanya, are unfortunately struggling
Wow.
to
Okay,
get
and hold on,
this.
stick up in it, coming back to that as well, because there was a question. This is actually an excellent segue into the next question, which was, with the growing rates in the market slowing, do you fear new agents will have a tough time holding their positions and getting listings? So
Yes.
coming back to what you're saying.
Yes, they will. I've
Get on a good team.
Yes,
I mean, we're not.
We
aren't. But to other, I'm sure we can all attest, all other realtors who we may be friends, they're coming up to me and saying, I may have to unfortunately have to go and get a 9 to 5. It's not, being a real estate agent isn't free. We have fees that we have to pay. And unfortunately, a lot of these realtors are struggling to pay them. So yes, majority.
It's not easy.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of agents right now are currently struggling and are likely going to continue to struggle for the foreseeable future. It's unfortunate, but thank God I'm on a team that's doing extremely, extremely well, so I don't have to worry.
What I would suggest for new agents, if that was part of the question,
So much shade.
To make sure you are on a team to start with.
Chuku, did I lie about anything I said?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm
Let's
sorry.
go on,
okay.
Natanya.
Go
Yeah,
on,
make
Natalia, go
sure
on.
make sure that you're on
I apologize.
a team, a strong team that can provide you with the knowledge, skills required to navigate the market. I would also suggest getting a mentor.
Yeah.
You definitely, there's a lot of programs out there. You definitely may need to invest and make sure you have the proper tools to navigate the market.
CRM.
I don't want to say that, it's a struggle and it's hard and it's this and be negative about it. I would look at the positive and just reach out to get the assistance you need to navigate the market. So it won't be a struggle.
And being
Okay,
a
how
real
about-
estate agent is, just to add, I'm sure you guys have noticed that they have all these seminars now on how to be a real estate agent, and these, programs on how to be a top producing real estate agent. There's so much more than what you're going to learn in those little 30-minute, 45-minute
Positive. Keep it
videos.
positive.
There's so much work.
But it's true, though.
very
But it's true.
rewarding.
It
It's
is
true.
true, but at the same time, I think if you lose, get up and keep going. And that's where
Yeah.
you get all of your knowledge from, really and truly.
Okay,
So
let me.
everything's
Okay,
not
here's.
smooth sailing. You're not just gonna be $1 million.
Oh, yes, I want to.
That's the reality.
No,
You have to
if you
work.
work hard, you will get there.
Okay,
I'll
so-
just,
Let me talk.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so here's my honest opinion, right? Because I've seen a lot of agents come in, I've seen a lot of agents leave. I can almost tell within the first couple of weeks whether they'll be successful or not. And I'll always say that's one thing that's really common. And when it comes to real estate, you have to sort of like put ego aside and be willing to learn.
Mhm.
You also have to put personal commitments aside as well and commit to it. This is not something, I know that when I met people in the beginning, they were like, okay, I can kind of do it part-time and make a little bit of money on the side. Now, there are circumstances where you can do this part-time and make it work out. The only problem with it is that if you start getting really good and you start doing the things the right way, something is going to have to give. So either your personal life goes to shambles, or it's going to be your real estate business is going to go to shambles, or whatever job you had is going to fall apart. But you can't do all of it, or maybe it's going to be a health, but you can't do all of it at the exact same time and perform well. It is not possible.
Mhm.
One thing I'll also recommend about this position is that you need to find a way to create balance, right? So I know that many times you'll see people working like, even I did it myself, right? You'll start at like 5 o'clock in the morning, you work until 1 o'clock in the morning, you keep killing yourself, right? But you'll notice that burnout, right? You're in borrowed time, and that burnout is going to hit you really, really hard, whether it's your health, whether it's your family, something's going to happen, right? So even though I would say in the beginning of your career, balance is not something you're going to achieve, it should be something that you should be striving for, right?
Mhm.
So that you strive to have the regular hours, you strive to have peace of mind. You need to make sure that you're accountable, not only to your clients, but to yourself. So one of the most difficult things when you're running your own business is accountability. Whether we're team leads or brokers or whatever it is, we can't force you to do something because a realtor, right, is not an employee, right?
Mm.
We can give you advice, but it's up to you to follow it, right? So ultimately, the choice is yours, right? If you decide not to, you know where I came from, right? Yeah, so you need to have that mental fortitude. You need to be okay. I know. You need to be okay with hearing bad news. You need to be okay with criticism. But the biggest critic, no matter what, will always have to be yourself. Your biggest cheerleader will also have to be yourself, right? Clients don't give two shits if you're crying at night. They don't care about your kids. They don't care if you hurt your foot. They don't give a rat's ass. Ultimately speaking, even the nicest client, they're there for a reason. They're hoping that you're competent, you know what they're talking about, that when they call, you answer the bloody phone and you don't give them stupid ass advice. So if all of a sudden going to taekwondo, whatever is more important, right? And they call you during it and you don't answer, that's your problem. If you're planning to have a 2-month vacation and it's right in the middle of the real estate season, again, that's your problem. So I think a lot of agents don't really notice the personal sacrifice that you need to be successful, but at the same time, they don't understand to create balance. Otherwise, there's going to be that burnout. So it's a very difficult dance when you're in real estate, because it's not like a business you can just kind of close the door and say we're closed for the summer people are going to expect you to be available pretty much nonstop, but you
Yep.
still need to create that boundaries and create time for yourself. That's all I got.
Exactly.
Vic, I hope that answers your question. The other one that's on the list here is, do you recommend group buying for first-time home buyers, especially for young people? And what are the pros and cons of that as well?
I would never do it.
I wouldn't do it either.
Also, what
I wouldn't do
protection?
it either.
Also, hold on.
No.
What protection should you
I
have?
You're
wouldn't.
terrible. I would.
I wouldn't.
I would. Why wouldn't you
I
do it?
would.
No, it's a good
Um,
idea. For some people, it's definitely, you can definitely do this. It's definitely a way to get your foot in the market, get some equity, you know. Make sure you have a lawyer, but personally.
Okay, because you're rich. Okay.
One person, maybe two max, but I
Okay.
don't know how big is the group.
I would,
Oh my God.
yeah, just to add to what Natanya said, I personally wouldn't do group buying, unless it was with, whether it's a significant other or someone who I've known for many years, but and again, one to two other person is good, but to have like a huge group buying, I wouldn't recommend it. Things happen. So what about if someone in that group doesn't pay the mortgage or doesn't do their end of the bargain? Then you have to be prepared to fill their hole. And again, the mortgage would be, and the ownership is all under you, so it is your responsibility. So I wouldn't do it, but
Okay.
going to
We're not
Okay,
saying
so-
don't do it.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
It can be
Wait.
done,
Okay.
but make sure
Okay.
you're lawyered up.
yeah,
Okay.
lawyered up as well.
Okay, Rayan, what are you saying?
Yeah,
I'll go after you.
I would do it, but it all depends on the circumstance. If I'm looking at a property, I'm not looking at it to say, okay, well, I'm gonna be working in the days and you're gonna be working in the nights, and we're gonna split it up like that. It would more so be an investment. However, a lot of people do that as well, where they would partner up on a new build and so forth, make sure that it's got all the bells and whistles, but that's more so a family dynamic where the family would get in. Once the property appreciates in value after a certain period of time, they refinance that property and they use the equity off the property to buy another one. That's
Brampton.
one situation. Exactly. Very smart, very effective. Killed off an entire subdivision. That's why I feel my friends are just like, oh my God, I hate Brampton's. Like, why? Because everybody's in my business. How? My uncle's down the road, my auntie's around the corner. So when you look at it like that, it's perfect, right? It works out, but that's how you start to create generational wealth. Another way how it's effective and what I would be looking at doing is pooling money for commercial/residential properties, or long and short, anything that functions as an investment where I'm going to be renting it out. So there are certain condo commercial properties that you can get in on. Probably, let's say the value comes up to be about $1.5–2 million for the purchase, and the people that are in there are let's say it's a dentistry or a convenience store or something like that, right? That works out to your favor, where if they're going to be generating between $50,000 to $80,000 or so a year, that's money that's going to be going towards paying down said mortgage, refinancing and so forth in the future, and purchasing something else. But that's something that you couldn't do on your own. You can do it with your homie though. Like if the both of you went to West Humber, the both of you went to Daystrom, North Albion Collegiate, wherever it was, you've known this person for years. It's great to partner up with somebody or a group of individuals, as long as the thing is that, one, you have a lawyer in place to make sure that you're completely secure and safe. The money itself would be going in the lawyer's trust account, and it wouldn't be held in, your friend's bank account. That would be dumb. Let's say you have Mitzi's been running Podna for years, right? Just giving you an example. Yeah, she's been a treasurer, so she can hold the money for all of us. That's very dumb. Get a lawyer, get the money put in the lawyer's trust account, and have all the purchases be ran through the lawyer with everybody's signature giving the okay. That's the situation that I would look at when it comes to group economics, and I'm highly for it because, again, as Chuku has posted, Brampton, this we all know that there was, you know, there's a few conspiracy theories that happened with a certain mayor that was in Brampton, that made certain deals with certain people to purchase X amount of property, and once she ran her term, I don't know where she is right now, but I've heard that there's land somewhere. And
That's
yeah,
it.
not to be political or anything like that, but the point is, you play the game right. You pull your money together.
He's gone.
He's
You
not.
purchase your
Chuku's like, I
property.
am not dealing with this.
You know what I mean? You purchase your properties, and you do what you have to do. Again, as I said, that was a conspiracy theory. There's no real backing to say it's truth. That's why big quotes on theory, but the truth of the matter is
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but the truth of the matter is money was grouped together by families. Money was used to purchase new builds and resell properties. The equity went up, that property was refinanced, and it was used to purchase another property for said family member. And that's on a smaller scale. On a bigger scale, you can use that to buy out an entire subdivision. You can use that to buy out an entire commercial plaza, and so forth. And things like that would definitely help. One of the things, and you can look into that's a little bit more advanced, is putting that money into a trust. And that's something that Chuku would more so know about in regards to the financial gains from having the money in a trust, having it divvied up between the members through dividends and so forth. And at the end of the day, that's now where you get something that's paying you, paying the group, as well as, you know, having money coming from the equity to purchase something else. You go further as a group than going fast alone, because you will burn out alone. There's a reason why the concept is called OPM, or other people's money. And if the other person's money is somebody that you know, then why not?
I have an opinion. When it comes to younger people and buying properties, the only young people that I can imagine that can buy anything nowadays are the ones who either maybe their parents give them some money, maybe they're making some really good money,
Traders.
maybe traders. Yeah. Stop it. That's all. Shh.
Natanya's saying whatever's on her mind.
Tanya's gonna go mess up all money, man. Like, stop it.
No. Your brain is in the gutter. No.
I ain't no gutter, man. I'm talking about never mind. I'm not gonna talk about nothing. Yeah. So when it comes to young people, right, a lot of them are not going to be able to afford a home, and a lot of it is due to policies, especially that what was that bloody thing they did again a couple of years ago with the rate thing? They multiply by 5. What's it called? The stress test. That's it.
The stress test.
Especially with the stress test. I mean, in hindsight, the stress test was a good thing because, I mean, look at what happened right now, right? But at the same time, that's probably one of the only ways I can imagine, other than having a rich uncle, mom, dad, parent, you did something illicit, or you did some really good Bitcoin investment or some kind of crap, because realistically, it's going to be very difficult. So in my mind, if I were a young 20-something-year-old man without grays in my face, and I was given the opportunity to own something with the little bit of money that I have, why not? If I can take $15,000 and own a piece of property, or $20,000 and own a piece of property, compared to the jack shit that I can do with it right now, it becomes a why not situation. I would just say the only thing is that you have to make sure that whoever is organizing this, same as rent to own, whoever is organizing is doing this in your own better interest, that everyone has the exact same goals, and that everyone is bound to some sort of a contract, and the contract is enforceable, right? If you look at the reason why I say it's enforceable, if you basically just get 5 of your best buddies and one of them is broke as fuck and they're not working and they can't afford, excuse my language, a frock, right? And they can't afford jack ship, right? The last thing that wants to happen, if all of a sudden they can't afford a mortgage and you're responsible for it, going to courts right now, it's not going to be something you want to do. You're not going to get that money back, and it's going to be a pain in the ass, especially if you're forced to sell. because their
Mhm.
name is going to be in that property. So you need to make sure that not only would it be like an equal amount, you need to also make sure that you have a really good exit strategy. You know exactly. So if you don't pay, what happens? Do we all sell or do you lose your share? All these things can be worked out by a lawyer and will protect you. But if the question again was to ask, like, do I recommend it? Yeah, wholeheartedly, because otherwise you guys don't have much of a choice. People who are starting off very, very late, good luck. By the time that I remember this before, you could save $30,000, $40,000, which is a lot of money to a lot of people. And then boom, you can buy a house. $30,000, it doesn't mean shit. Like you can't get anywhere. You can save $50,000, and depending on what your income is, you can't afford anything. So the longer it takes you to keep on saving, the homes are getting further away from you. So by the time that you get the perfect amount that you can afford to buy a property, it's already gone. And now that the home prices are going down, even though the home prices have gone down, the interest rates have gone up. So you still can't afford shit, right? So yeah, solution would be a group purchase, guaranteed. And if you want to treat it like an investment afterwards, good. At the same time, it's still better than renting something, paying somebody else. You might as well put it towards something. So I think that should cover the pros and cons. It also could cover protection as well.
Right.
That's my 2 cents.
No, makes perfect sense.
I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Silly question for me. I think it's funny and silly at the same time. So has the bubble burst? I heard that the bubble has burst. The real estate bubble has finally burst. I thought we actually just, went back to correction mode, but apparently the bubble bursted.
Oh, Lord.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Listen,
I just want to clear it up for the news. I was reading an article.
Okay, I'll tell you.
So
okay, listen.
On the other hand, they said we've corrected, and I think we've corrected. So I just want to hear what everyone else's thought is on this burst, along with what's the other words?
The recession.
Not the recession. There's going to be the burst, and then there's going to be the crash. Yeah, crash. On these terms.
That's a valid question.
Okay, that is okay. I guess we'll skip Diana's for now. We'll go directly to the real estate bubble thing. Or do
let's go into the
bubble. Of years throughout my entire career, we keep on hearing about the real estate bubble, the real estate bubble, the real estate bubble. Okay, all of that is fucking. Excuse me. I'm just trying to hold back. All of it is a bunch of sensationalist bullcrap. Okay. If you follow the charts and you follow any sort of pretty much most markets, you always know it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and it goes down. I'm not going to talk about expansion on that bullshit. Ultimately speaking, this is absolutely normal. House prices cannot go up forever. They also cannot keep on going down forever. Interest rates cannot be low forever. They cannot be high forever. What the government is looking for is balance. Right? If the Bank of Canada did not increase interest rates to where it is right now, there's a very good potential that some of the actual prices that we're looking at could go so far into outer space that when you want to talk about affordability, it'll be absolutely impossible, even with a reversal.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about what's scary, imagine if all of a sudden the average detached ended up being 2 million. And now you have to bring it back down to $1 million. Imagine what that would take and what sort of damage that would happen to the average person.
That would be
that would be your crash. So essentially what they're doing is that they're tapering it down by these rapid interest rate increases, but it's not going to be forever. Normally every cycle tends to last about 3 to 4 years. A buyer's market is normally 3 to 4 years. Seller's market, 3 to 4 years. That's the average. Could you excuse me, be right back?
Yeah, so carrying on, folks, I would say that it's a correction. We've corrected back to the prices that we were at before everything was overinflated.
Yeah,
and
November.
It's definitely not a burst, but if that's the term they use for a correction, then sure, it can be a burst.
They're not even close. For the numbers that I'm seeing right now, it's reflective of last year, November, in regards to the prices. there's no burst. Even the talk of oh well, we're going to be going into a recession. The thing is, when it comes to recessions, and you're going to see it happen on the news, once it gets close to the end, that's when you're going to hear, oh my gosh, doom and gloom, we're in a recession, we're going through so much. But the thing is, right now we've already had 2 negative quarters. We're in a recession right now.
Yep.
By the time everybody who's bought and held on to whatever for the properties starts to look like a genius when the prices go up, it's going to be too late. They're going to advertise that we're in a recession, but maybe it might last for right out the curtails of a month, 2 months max. And then by the time it's said that we're in a recession, we're already out of it. We've had 2 positive quarters to prove it. And everybody who purchased the property through the time when there was a recession is going to look like a genius. But to come back to what you were saying in regards to the bubble and the sensationalism of Ichuku, do you think that we're gonna blow up next week?
He said no.
Listen,
No.
because the thing is that, right, okay, the governor, the Bank of Canada, they're not a bunch of idiots, right? These aren't stupid people, right? It's like running a business. What all they're doing is just damage control more than anything to prevent a major recession, a true one. This right now is fueled by gasoline and food supplies, but for the most part, it's pretty much gas. It's all based on the war from Russia and Ukraine. So they like to say, I have my beliefs of why they're doing it. They're doing it because they freaking have to. Like, even if there wasn't a bloody war in Russia and Ukraine, this is something that they would have done regardless, or they should have done regardless. The war is just a scapegoat. That's all it really is.
Exactly.
Okay. So what I would recommend to someone, if they're planning to buy right now, you have to ask yourself this: why you buy, right? If you're buying it to have a home in the next 5 to 10 years and that's your main goal, yeah, buy the damn thing. You can afford it, buy the bloody thing, right? In 5 to 10 years, I guarantee you that it will work out in your favor for sure, right? For sure. Now, if you're planning to wait until you see the bottom out, when the rates stop going up, what do you think is going to start happening to people? Like, think of it this way, right? All those people who've been buying nonstop and all those bidding wars we've been having in the seller's market, they didn't die, right? And some of these people, a lot of times they get caught up inside of it. They're buying because of the whole sensational behind it, right? Why did they stop buying? They stopped buying because of fear. That is all it is. It's just fear. And what ends up happening is that the rates keep on going up, which creates even more fear, which is what the Bank of Canada is doing. It's intentional. You want to stop demand. And the only way to do it is to make it very, very unaffordable. So now that it's beginning to be reduced, what do you think would happen if all of a sudden the Bank of Canada just says, hey, you know what? No more rate increases, done. Not until 2024. And then afterwards, we're going to reverse it. I'm going to drop it back down again. Demand will go back up again. And now we're back into the damn same situation. People will start feeling more comfortable, start buying within their wealth, buying whatever they can afford. And they know that when the time comes in 2 to 3 years, as long as you're in a variable mortgage, just refinance or just switch mortgage or switch companies to a cheaper rate in the future, and you're going to be laughing, right? So if you can afford a property, buy the bloody thing. If you know you can't afford it, then don't buy it. It's simple as that. Now, if your mindset is in terms of investment, you just have to watch your charts. Like, I don't know what you're planning to buy, if it's a condo, it's a townhouse, or a duplex, or whatever it is, but you watch the market and see what happens. I'll tell you the things that I like. I've always said this a million times over. If I was a first-time investor looking to get myself a rental property, I needed to live inside of it, I'll get myself with a finished basement with a separate entrance, or something with the potential of renting out the basement. What I do like are semi-detached raised bungalows. If I had all the money in the bloody world, I would just keep on buying semi-detached raised bungalows over and over and over and over again, because I damn well know that they're almost recession proof, right? There's always going to be someone living in the basement paying market rent. I do know that whenever these mortgage rates go up and homes become more expensive and mortgages get a lot higher, right? I know that my rents are going to go up as well. So heck with it, right? You rent out your basement. When the time comes, you refinance when loan rates are lower. You pull your equity out, you buy another property, another raised bungalow, right? And semi-detached are cheaper than the detached. right? But the rents are very, very similar. So that's my little gem I'm going to drop inside here. The rents between a semi-detached and a detached, for the most part, are so similar, it might be off a couple $100. But the house price itself, the semi-detached tend to be significantly cheaper, well, a bit cheaper, a couple $100,000 cheaper. So it's easier for you to break even in a semi-detached bungalow than in regular bungalow. Now you add an automatic main lower floor that's above ground, you're laughing. Yeah, so anyway, buy whatever you can afford, and that's the end of that. I'll leave it at that.
So
All
like
right.
we captured everything. Yeah.
Not yet. The main thing is coming. We're going to repeat it. With the one that we have left, it's a repeat. Do you think it's a good time to buy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
See.
Buy when you
Don't
can
follow
afford it.
me. I think every time is the right time to buy.
Yeah, but it works
Buy
out for you, though.
buy when the rates are low, buy when they're high. I think every time is a good time to buy.
That's right.
Buy
Yes,
when
now
it's
is the time
balanced.
to buy.
There's no bad time. Honestly, it works differently for everyone. And I think this is a great time to buy, but it's never a bad time to buy.
Right.
And but you know the irony, right? Because if you were to flash back and you would tell me this like 10 years ago and a realtor said it's a good time to buy, I would tell you to like F yourself, right? But as time and time again, I'll never forget this story, this Croatian guy that I met. And I remember he's really wealthy. I should probably reach out to him. And him and his buddies always had a whole bunch, they had tons of properties. They were just killing it. And there is me with my analytics and my analysis on 4 or 5 pages trying to say, okay, when is the best time to figure this out? And these guys would just buy the bloody things. And in a couple of years, they'd refinance and they're owning like 11, 12, 14, 15 properties. And I'm stuck with my little bit of properties or whatever. And the reason and the difference between myself and them is that the second that they could afford it, they bought. The second that they could afford it, they bought. That's what that was the mindset. I can afford it, I buy, right? And if I can't afford it, I will find a way to afford it because I want to keep on buying. And these guys are like, they're different kind of money, different mindset. That's why sometimes being too analytical and being too goddamn smart is problematic, especially when it comes to making money. Because the people I've seen that made the most amount of money are the ones who aren't putting too much thought into it. It's like, okay, I can afford it, I buy it, done. That was it. As long as you can afford it, that's the key thing. If you can't afford it, then you're done. It's all about numbers.
Right.
All right.
Okay. You guys want to talk about something fun that's not real estate? Literally anything else?
No.
What was maybe nipping in a bud? What's everyone's thoughts on Kanye?
Oh Lord.
Oh my days.
I didn't know you were gonna drop a Kanye.
You're not supposed to talk about politics. He's running for president. This is political now. Let's not talk about politics.
But if I share how I feel about Kanye, this video might not make it on Facebook.
Fair enough.
We wish Kanye West the best. We'll leave it at that. We wish everyone the best. We wish him the best.
I wish I'm impartial. I wish no one the best. Dear Rico, I'm impartial. And officially speaking, we have no view. And their CREA, Canadian Real Estate Association, we have no view on the matter. You guys just carry on and you just keep doing what you do.
I'm just looking at it from a human standpoint where, they have the song,
oh God,
we are the world, we are the children, we are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving, There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives.
You know what I do want to say, everybody on here, everyone that's worked with SirLuckHomes team. I have been given a green light, I believe, to run a contest. So all of our previous buyers, sellers, anyone who's left a review, if you haven't, please go on and do so. I've been green lighted to start a contest, and I'll be using people who have left a review for the draw, and we'll get back to you with the details, but I want to put that out there so it actually happens.
So you give me a whole bunch of money. So thanks. I know what you just did. I know what you just did. You're right.
Latanya, that's why you're my favorite.
So in other words, a whole bunch of money is going to be coming out. Oh God. All right.
I think it's happening for December, a draw.
Right before Christmas. Right.
And I'm trying to get him to recant for October. So, let's really push Chuku to make sure that although October's gone, we do have an October draw, a double draw. in
Damn.
October.
Double
Hey,
draw.
guys, I'm really
A
working
double draw.
I'm really working for these clients to have a get back for working with us. And I know Chuku down in his heart, because he came up with the idea actually, really wants to do this. And it's gonna be done because I'm gonna make it happen.
All right.
Okay,
And I think it's a wrap now.
on that note,
Help!
Details will follow shortly.
Awesome.
Oh, well, there goes my money.
Okay.
He's crying. Chuku's crying. But make sure you get your reviews in, and we'll definitely follow up on that one.
Awesome. Well, is
Okay,
there
I
anything
think-
else
I
that
think that's
anybody
it.
would like to add?
I'm gonna give you poor.
I don't mind. There's a few clients that I wouldn't mind giving back to. We'll see who wins.
Yes, we will be
Yeah.
checking out those.
Can I enter the competition?
no,
No.
you just be gifting yourself.
Watch him face.
No Canadian, no Canada Revenue Agency. I would never do this.
I heard the gifts are 500 a pop.
And you give 10% to Janelle.
I don't
What
know
is
about that last
happening?
part.
It's out there now, Chuku. We can't undo it.
You know, let me go cut this. Let me cut this broadcast one time.
Holler at your favorite realtor.
Oh God.
Okay. But on
All right,
that
guys.
note, thank you everyone for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact each of us. And you know where to find us, Instagram, Facebook, and have a great day.
Pretty much everywhere. All right. Bye, everyone. I'm getting out.
Bye.